will wait for 1 minute and then we are going to start. I have already uploaded for you all the files that we have covered in the second session, and then I have uploaded as well the documents for session number 3 as well. Okay. So we are going to the last portion. We are going to the last portion, which is related to building regulations for Muscat area, since it's the only regulation that is available. Uh, the difference between the approved standard for contract, it's more of a contract shape اللي هو or which is a reflection of FEDEC. We have different types of contracts in the world. We have FEDEC, which is the Federation of Contract, and then we have the GCT, we have the NEC, different types of contracts in different areas of the world. FEDEC is a international one that is used by most of the countries. Approved standard contract for building and civil engineering work is a reflection of the FEDEC. Okay, so when you go, if somebody is asking you in the interviews what are the different types of contract, do not go and tell him that we have design, build, and construction management. Trust, these are not contracts. Different contracts are, as I said for you, we have FEDEC, GCT, NEC. These are the different types of contracts, and inside them there are the design, build, the procurement tools, the delivery methods. Okay, so these are more into methodologies, more into duties and rights for each and every party. Building regulation is a standard which is helping you to build your own drawings. Okay, so these are two different things. Going for the building regulation for Muscat area, certain rules, a lot of rules are there. We have versions. We have two versions, one in Arabic and one in English. I try to take certain portions, certain things only, which are related to the structural things that you need to know. There are a lot of architectural things. Unfortunately, there's no time, so I'll not be able to cover them. But I have uploaded for you the English and Arabic version, so you can go and see them. So we are going to tackle 7 areas or 7 topics. 1 areas: doors, height, stairs, corridors, setbacks, and then elevators. So what are the regulations or standards that we are using to obtain our area? And what basis I'm going to say that the room is going to be 10 into 10 or is going to be 1 into 2. So there is a standard that I need to follow, and there is a standard for doors, height, stairs, corridors, setbacks, and elevators as well. Okay, so when it comes to areas, 2 things are there. Okay, this is the municipality, and this is from my own book, but anyhow this is a representation of the municipality. You can see in the municipality it says that we have a description of a room, the minimum area, and a minimum dimension or a side. So according to the municipality, Muscat municipality, the bedroom should have a minimum area of 12 meter and a minimum dimension or a side of 3 meter. And if you go and see the municipality the building regulation. This is a building regulation. Unfortunately, it's from 1992. It's very old. That's the only thing that we are having. Um, so you can see here, the bedroom is having a minimum area of something and then the least dimension of something. And we need to understand what's the meaning of these things. Okay. So when it comes to minimum area, any room, any bedroom which is available in my plan, which is having an area of lesser than 12, municipality is not going to approve your plan and is going to be repeating it or ask you to modify it. Minimum dimension, normally we have four dimensions or we have four sides. We need to ensure that none of these four are having a value lesser than 3. So for example, let's take this particular example. So now we have a bedroom, this particular bedroom in this particular plan. We are going to verify whether it's according to the law or not. So actually you should be using these dimensions before, not for the verification purposes, but this is just to highlight. So we have a bedroom of 3.2 into 4 meter, and 3.2 into 4 meter is the inner area. Okay, 3.2 into 4 meter is the inner area. It's not the center to center, it's the inner area. Okay, so 3.2 and 4 meter, you can see that 3.2 is more than the minimum. Okay, is more than the minimum, that is 3. So we have a minimum of 3. This bedroom is 3.2. The area specified is 12. Our area, if we multiply 3.2 into 4, we are going to have 12.8. So for this particular bedroom, I have satisfied whatever is available in the municipality. So later on, when you work as a consultant, okay, when you work as a consultant, you don't want to get your drawings returned back a lot from the municipality. So you need to understand the regulation given by the municipality, and accordingly you need to build your own drawings. The same thing for the kitchen. Let's say that the kitchen is having this kitchen is having a dimension of 4 into 4.6. According to the municipality, it says for a kitchen minimum area is 5, while the minimum dimension or side is 2 meter. Now 4 meter and 4.6 are more than 2 meter, so we don't have any issue related to the minimum dimension, and we don't have any issue related to the minimum area, since the area is around 18.4. Okay, so this is one of the things that we need to know from the municipality regulations. Another thing that we need to check from the municipality regulations is whatever we call it doors. Even if it's more into architectural drawings, but you need to know it a lot, because a lot of structural things will be depending on the doors. The positioning of the columns, you cannot position a column in the middle of a door. So you need to know what are the sizes of the doors. Do we have the same size of door uh, for all the rooms? And if you can notice here, always when it comes to the toilet or the bathrooms, we have the lesser area. Okay? So the minimum area according to the municipality for the door is going to be 0.75, and the minimum height of the door is normally 2.1 for any type of door. Okay, so normally we start from point 0.9. Regular thing in most of the buildings are point 0.9, and it goes up for the entrance, it goes lesser for the bathroom. Okay, now if you go and see, we are taking certain examples here. So we have taken three examples to highlight. And once again, if you are following the municipality, it means that you will not get your drawings returned back. Okay. So this is MD. MD is representing main door. So you can see the main door here. The width of the main door is 1.5, while the height is 2.1. So for me, I followed, or I fulfilled the municipality, because the municipality says 2.1, and then the municipality says the minimum width for the entrance or the main door is 1 meter. I have provided 1.5 meter. Now when it comes to bedroom, For the bedroom, the municipality says a minimum of zero point 0.9 and the height is 2.1. And you can see here, according to D1, in the legend here, in the legend it says that 1 meter width is used and a height of 2.1. And you can see that the height is more than the required zero point 0.9. I mean, the width is more than the required zero point 0.9 and the height is 2.1. And you can see always we are using a height of 2.1. So if any person comes for you in the interview, what's the typical height of a door? You should know that it's 2.1. You shouldn't say that it's an architectural thing that I shouldn't know about. No, you should know about it. Okay. Same thing for the bathroom. Okay. For the bathroom, we are using 800 width into height of 2.1, and you can see here for the bathroom it's 0.75 into 2.1. So according to whatever regulations given by the municipality, you need to work your drawings. So once again, normally we don't do verification. This is only for just showing you how to use it, how to use these values. Normally we build our own drawing according to whatever is available in the regulations. Now normally it will be done by the architect first, and then it will be brought by the civil engineer. But in a lot of scenarios, you might not have an architect to check for you. Okay, so you need to know the basic things which are available in the construction drawings. Heights. Now we are talking about the different heights, and this is very important for you when it comes to structural design. Okay. Now, a lot of architectural students here in the college, a lot of students in the project, they are using heights without knowing from where they have got that height, or from where they are going to say or justify that they have used that height from. Okay. So according to the municipality, if we are having a residential building, if it's a one-story building, or if it's a ground floor, we can go for 3 meter to up to 4 meter. Okay, so I cannot go and have 4.2 meter for a single story building, or even if it's a ground floor. Okay, so it should be from 3 to 4 meter. I should not exceed that value, and I should not be lesser than the 3 meter. Uh, Lesser than 3 meter, it means because of the slab, because of the beams. Once again, the height is measured from the slab to the slab. Okay, the height is measured from the slab to the upper slab. So it means that you need to reduce the slab thickness, you need to reduce the beam thickness. It means that you have a very small clear height. You will end up having around 2 meter or 1.8 meter that you cannot use if you are using something lesser than 3 meter. Okay. Upper floors, it's from 2.8 to 3.6, so you cannot go more than 3.6. You cannot use 3.7 according to the municipality. If municipality says so it as 3.7, they will return the whole building. For commercial building, uh, we have ground floor for two options: one with mezzanine, another one is without mezzanine. And if it's with mezzanine, then it's going to be 6 meter. Mezzanine is included. If it's without mezzanine, only ground floor and then it's first floor directly, then you're going to have it from 4 to 4.75. Mezzanine, if it's separately, 2.6 to 3 meter. It should not exceed that. Upper floor, if you're going to use, I mean, first floor, second floor, third floor, typical floors are going to be from 2.8 to 3.6. In case of industrial buildings, if you are talking about a workshop, if it's a steel structure, then you need to go for up to 8 meter. You cannot go more than 8 meter. If it's an RC structure, it's from 4.5 to 7 meter. You cannot exceed the 7 meter. And once again, workshop for RC is not recommended. Normally, we have most of the structures to be for the workshop. Most of them are going to be steel structure only. And one information when it comes to steel structure, uh, all the consultancies here in Oman, they are doing only concrete work. They are only doing concrete design. They don't do steel design. Okay, steel design, even if you take it done by your consultancy taken to the municipality, municipality will not approve it. Municipality will ask you to take it to a manufacturer or a contractor, a steel contractor or a steel subcontractor who is going to do the design. So the design of steel here in Oman is done by the steel company, is not done by the consultancies. The consultancies are doing concrete design or pre-stressed concrete as well. Okay. Now you can see here we have natural ground level, ground floor, and then from the ground floor to the first floor we are having 4 meter. So this is fulfilling whatever is available. This is, of course, this is a residential building. Okay, so for a residential building, according to the municipality, we should not exceed 4 meter. So we have the ground floor for up to 4 meter. The roof floor, so the second floor is going to be 7.5 minus 4. This is going to be 3.5. So once again, 3.5 is within the limit specified by the municipality, and it goes on the same for the roof. So first floor and then the roof floor. Okay, so once again, it's very important for me as a civil engineer to know if I'm going to design a warehouse, what's the height, what's the maximum height that I can go for. If I'm going to design a commercial building, what's the height, and then for a residential building, what's the height to be used. Okay, going for the next point, which is stairs. A lot of things are here. We are going to first understand the concept of stairs. I don't think that you have taken anything related to stairs in your college studies. You need to understand them. So we have different components of stairs. We have something called rise, and we have something called going or tread. Okay, so rise and going, different terminologies. The thickness, uh, the thickness of the slab for the stair, we call it as a waist. Okay, so the thickness of the slab for the stair, we call it as a waist. We have a landing here. We have a landing here. It can be supported by beams or it can be supported by walls. So one beam here. This is supported by beams. So one beam here, another beam here, or it can be supported by wall on this particular side. Okay. Now, for why this is very important for me, because there are certain things that I need to follow according to the municipality. One of them is the number of rise or the number of steps in the stair. Another thing is height of the rise. Another thing is width of the going. Okay. Now if you go and notice here, and this is a very important question, normally is being asked in the interviews. uh, what's the relation of the number of riser to the number of threads? And if you can see here, we have first riser, second riser, third one, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, and then 13th. We have 13 risers. How many goings are there? So first going, second going, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th. The last one is not considered. The last one is not considered to be a going anymore. It's considered to be a landing. So if they are asking you what's the relation of risers to going, you can say that the riser is always going to be the number of goings plus one. Okay, so always the number of risers are more than the number of goings by one. Why? Because the last one is not considered to be going; it's considered to be landing. Okay. Now, according to the municipality, there are certain things that you need to follow. We need to have the height of the riser. Okay, we need to have the height of the riser to be within 15 to 18 centimeter. It shouldn't be lesser than 15. It shouldn't be more than 18. Being more than 18, it's too much. You will feel that it's hard for me to use this particular stair because it's not easily used. And once again, the going is going to be between 27 to 30. If the municipality got your stairs and you are not within these limits, your full drawing is going to be returned back, and you will be once again asked to change it. Now, one of the things, if you keep doing a lot of mistakes and sending them to the municipality are going to each time, or if they saw a very huge or basic mistakes like these ones, normally they will cancel whatever things that you have submitted, and then you need to pay for the second one. For each time that you send your request, you need to pay around 20 riyals. So they will cancel it, and then you need to pay. If they keep seeing a lot of issues coming from your side as a consultant, then they might be taking decisions to cancel your consultancy. Okay. Anyhow, second point is going to be about the the number of staircase in a building. Okay. So it says for you, once again, the municipality has specified, if you have a single floor, you can have either none or one. Okay. So there is no specified number for, there is no specification related to single floor. If I have only single floor, sorry, if I have single floor, either it's going to be none, I don't have any stair. To go to the roof, you can have an outside stair, or you need to have one. You can have one, either none or one. Now, if it's more than single floor, at least you have one. Now, when to say that I need to have two? Okay, I say that I need to have more than one in case that I have a floor area more than 500, or a total built-up area more than 1,500. Okay, so if my floor area, let's say, uh, I have I have a block where the floor area is 600. Okay, so I have two-story, 600 for the ground floor, 600 for the first floor. Then one is not going to be enough for me. Okay, one stair is not going to be enough. I need to have one stair on one side, another stair on the other side, and this is for the purpose of ease of use and the purpose of fire as well. When it comes to total built-up area, and let's say that I have, for example, 200 meter square floor area, but I have, for example, 10 stories or 12 stories. Now, when it comes to 12 stories, it means that the number of users are more, even if the floor area is small, but the total number of users are more because of the number of stories. It means that the number of stair is not going to be sufficient. So, to conclude this point, if you have a single floor, then either you have no stair, or you can have one. If you have more than one single floor, if your floor area, one floor area is lesser than 500, or the total built up area lesser than 1500, you can have only one. If you are increasing by 500, so if it goes to more than 500, then you need to have extra one. If you go more than 1500, then you need to have another one. So for each extra 500, you are going to have another one. Let's say, for example, I have a floor area of 1500. Okay, if it's 1500, it means that I'll be having one for the first 500, second one for the second 500, and third one for the third 500. So I'll be having three stages, and it goes on. Okay. Now that's related to the number of stairs. After that, we are going to have what's the width of the stair. Okay, so first we discussed the different components of the stairs. We learned what's the meaning of riser, going, tread, waist, landing. We learned on what basis we are going to specify whether I have one stair or two stairs. Okay. After that, we are going to see on what basis I'm going to see what's the width of the stair. So it says for you, if it's a residential building, and you are talking about three units in a floor, let's say that three rooms, or more of three rooms, let's say, since it's residential, or let's say apartment. Let's say this is more of apartments. So 3 apartments in one floor, 12 apartments in all floors. And then the width is going to be between 1 to 1.1. Okay, so if I have a building, a full residential building, مبنى سكني مؤجر بالكامل. I have 3 apartments in each floor and a total of 12 units. Then the width can be 1 to 1.1. If I have more than 4 stories, more than 12 units, then it means that the number of people are going to be more. 1.1 or 1 is not going to be enough. You need to go for 1.2. So in short, whenever the number of people are increasing, it means that the width is not going to be sufficient. You need to increase your width. The same case for the residential commercial, the same case for the industrial. So whenever we are talking about the increment in terms of units or the increments in terms of floors, you will see that we are increasing the width. And you can see if it's residential or commercial, the width is lesser. When it comes to public buildings, the width is more. And once again, this is depending on the number of users. When we talk about the number of residential users are going to be less than the number of users for the hotels, schools, or hospitals. Okay, so one basic thing that we should know, it depends on the number of units, it depends on the number of people using the building to decide how many stairs and what's the width of the stair. Okay, and these are examples showing you. So for example here, you can see that the floor area, this is 10.8. Okay, and this is 16.7. Your area is around 150, 200, is lesser than 500 meters square. So for this particular building, I don't require more than one stair, because we say if it's lesser than 500, then one stair is going to be sufficient. Okay, so once again, if it's lesser than 100, it's lesser than 500, then one stair is going to be sufficient. What's the width of the stair? The width of the stair is given to be 1000. So 1000 here, another 1000 here. Okay, which is following whatever width that we have shown in the municipality requirements. Another case is here. So you can see that I have ground, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and goes on. You can see here 6 floors are there. Floor area is more than 500, or total built up area. Okay, floor area is lesser than 500, but total built up area is more than 1500 because it's 6 floors. Total built up area is the addition of all floors together. Okay, since it's 6 floors, it means that the number of users are going to be more. So instead of one stair is not going to be sufficient. I need to use 2 stairs in this particular example. What's the width of the stair? It depends on the nature of the building, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or public building. So once again, we need to know first, we need to know what's the floor area, what's the built up area, and accordingly we are going to specify the number of stair. After specifying the number of stair, we need to see the nature of the building, whether it's residential, commercial, industrial, or public, to decide the width of the building. Okay, and once again, there is one thing that you need to note. One question might be coming for you. What's maximum number of steps? What's the maximum number of steps to go for a stair? One line stair. It's going to be 13. You cannot have more than 13 according to the municipality. If you go more than 13, then your design is going to be returned back. Okay. After that, we are going to go for the corridors. And once again, I need to know what are the specifications from the municipality related to corridors. So we have different things. We have, for residential, we have internal corridor, we have a public corridor, and then we have commercial buildings, public buildings. And you can see, once again, it depends on the number of users. Residential, normally the number of users are less, so the width is going to be less. Commercial number of users is more, so normally the width is more. Public, a lot of users, so it means that normally the the width is going to be more. What do we mean by internal corridor and what do we mean by public corridor? If you can see here, let's say that these are two units. Okay, this is one block, but there are two different, two separate entities. Okay, we have the first portion, this is the second portion. So there are two buildings inside. There are two buildings inside the block. This is whatever we call it as public corridor. Okay, it's between an entity and entity, or between a structure and a structure. Internal corridor is between the rooms themselves. Okay, is it clear? So internal corridor is inside the entity. Public corridor is between them. Okay, public corridor is between the entities. Okay, so normally when it comes to a regular plot, normally we are dealing more into internal corridor. So according to the internal corridor, you need to see how much. So here, for example, it's 1.2. So you can see internal corridor inside the unit. So it's 1.2. Okay, so that's related to corridors. You need to understand the meaning of internal corridor, public corridor, and you need to understand the nature of the building, and accordingly you can specify the number of the width of the corridor itself. Setbacks, this is a very important point for tomorrow's lecture, uh, which is croquis. So we are going to learn how to read the croquis tomorrow. Now, according to the municipality, there are certain areas or certain clarification for setbacks. Setbacks اللي هي in Arabic, even forgot. المهم هي الحدود، الحد بين المبنى والجدار الخارجي. This is whatever we call it، أو الارتدادات بالعربي. الارتداد. Okay, الارتداد is from the or setback is from the structure itself till the last part of the boundary wall, your boundary wall. Okay, so certain things have been given by the municipality. So for example, it says for you typical setbacks. You can see here we have different setbacks. So هذا الارتداد الأول، هذا الارتداد الخلفي. This is back setback. These are sides. This is first side. This is second side. And then we have here front setback. So these are the setbacks أو الارتدادات. المسافة بين المبنى إلى الجدار الخارجي أو البلوت مان. So we have front, and normally front is going to be more, and that's normally because of the cars parking. Okay, normally that's because of the cars parking. Sides, why do we keep setbacks? Because we have neighbors here. For the privacy of the neighbor, normally we don't make the structure close by the other structure. So we keep a distance wall, and then a distance for the neighbor, and then his structure. Okay, and this setbacks according to the municipality varies from 2 to 3 meter for the back side, varies from 2 to 3 meter for the side. If it's commercial, it says for you here as per the ownership document from the municipality. Ownership اللي هي الكوكي, whatever we are going to see later on. Industrial, so once again for industrial there are certain things. You can see here 8 meter, and once again, since it's industrial, it means a lot of traffic is going to go there, a lot of cars, a lot of trucks are going to come at the front side. So we need to keep a good setback, sides as well, back sides, and it goes on. And there are certain criteria here for the industrial buildings as well. Okay, and you can see here in this particular example, the back setback is 2 meter, the side setback is 2 meter, and then the front setback is 5 meter here. Okay, so it means that we have fulfilled, if this is a residential building, we have fulfilled the 2 meter for the back, the 2 meter for the side, and then 5 meter for the front. Normally there might be a clash with the croquis. Whatever you need to follow here in terms of the setbacks, your final reference is going to be the croquis. It's not going to be the ministry. There might be a small change between them, but your final decision as a designer is going to be based on the croquis itself. So if we go for the croquis, these are two samples of cookies. Okay, these are two samples of cookies. You can see um, area, number. We are going to discuss it in details next session or tomorrow. I mean, and now you can see that they have mentioned clearly the setback. It says for you for the front 5 meter, for the back 3 meter, for the side 2 meter. It means here I cannot go for the side. I cannot go from 2 to 3 meter. I cannot go for 3 meter. Even the municipality says 2 to 3, but according to the croquis, I have only two. So the final reference is going to be the croquis. Okay, and then uh, second one is this one, and once again here you can see uh, 5 5 meter, 2 meter for the back, 2 meter for the side. The parking is inside. If you can see, that's why we are giving them 5 meter, 5 meter inside, or 5 meter for the front. I cannot go and use three even if the municipality says it's 2 to 3, because it's the final decision is going to be according to the croquis. Tomorrow we are going to learn the different things in the croquis. We are going to learn easting and northing. We are going to learn how to plot the plot in AutoCAD, how to find it in Google Google Maps, because Google Maps is using different system of coordinates, and AutoCAD is using different coordinates of or different system for coordinates. So you need to know, if somebody is asking you to draw the plot in the CAD, you should know how to draw it. If somebody is asking you to find this particular plot according to Google Maps, you should know as well. Last thing, we are going to go for the elevators. And elevators normally, according to the municipality, can be available in a building uh, if it's more than 3 stories. Okay, if it's lesser than 3 stories, or 3 stories or lesser, then it's optional. It depends on the owner of the building. If the owner of the building is having good amount of money, and he is having 2 stories, and he wants to have a lift, that's up to him. uh, the main the main function of the elevator or the lift, the main function or main functions are two. One is for the ease of transfer vertically from one floor to another floor. Second thing is to resist the horizontal forces. That's the main thing for you as structural designers, as civil engineers. Okay, so the main thing is to resist the horizontal forces, and you should know the basics that whenever we are increasing from 3 stories and above, the wind forces are increasing, and then the seismic effect is going to increase more. That's why we need to ensure a stability in terms of the horizontal forces, so that will provide a lift or elevator. We have two examples here. This is a ground plus first. You can see ground plus first, and then we have a roof here. And you can see, if it's ground first and roof, there is no need for me to provide a lift. So this is the plan. I don't need to provide a lift because there is no requirement. It's equal or lesser than 3 in terms of number of floors. For the second example, we have ground plus 5 floors. So ground plus 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we have the roof here. Since it's more than 3 stories, then for the ease of transportation from the from a certain floor to another floor, and for resisting the seismic and wind load, we need to provide an elevator, or whatever we call it as a lift, or whatever we call it structurally as a core wall. Okay, so by finishing the elevator, I have finished samples of the Muscat Municipality regulations. There are a lot of things still in the Muscat Municipality regulations. You need to know them. I'm not asking you to memorize them, but you need to know them. if somebody is asking you in the interviews from which part that you have or what's your reference, which will help you to find the areas or whatsoever, you need to know that there is a reference, which is Muscat Municipality, that is going to be helping you for your design. Um, I have finished today's lecture. Since there are a few minutes left, tomorrow whatever we are going to have is going to be related to construction stages and then structural layout. So we are going to learn, as I told you, we are going to take different croquis. We are going to learn how to implement them, how to draw them in CAD, how to draw the plot in the CAD. I'll teach you how to draw the plot automatically in the CAD. So it's a matter of copy and paste. You don't need to draw a line and whatever. No, you can just copy and paste a certain, let's say, a certain text, and then the whole geometry of the plot will be drawn for you. And then we're going to use Google Maps, and I'm going to show you what's the difference between uh, the different systems that are available. We are going to take construction stages. So we are going to learn by pictures what are the different stages of construction, uh, from one to another. So you should know what are the phases or what are the stages that you are going to tackle, because these are very important for you in construction. Whether you are a contractor or whether you are a consultant, you should know what are the major steps, like for example, uh, grade, slab, column, staircase, beam. What are the steps that we need to follow? So this is a pictorial part. We are going to follow how to construct a building from the beginning till the end. And then the last part is structural layouts. So we are going to take different types of layout. But before going to the slabs layout, beams layout, columns layout, and foundation layouts, we are going to learn typical things which are important, like what's the meaning of a hidden beam, what's the meaning of an inverted beam. You have heard a lot about regular beam or drop beam. What's the meaning of an inverted beam? What's the meaning of a sunken slab? All of these terminologies are there. And then we are going to go for the layout. We are going to understand what are there inside the layout, how to read the schedules, what's the meaning of short, long bars, what's the meaning of extra, what's the meaning of extra top, extra bottom. So all of that thing we are going to learn it in tomorrow's lecture. Okay. So just to recap whatever we have taken today. Uh, we have taken the most important documents that we need to know as civil engineers. Uh, these are normally not taught in the colleges, even when we have graduated from the college. Nobody has taught us, even in the other colleges. Nobody is teaching them. But these are a good preparation for you, for the interviews and then for the jobs later on. This will give you an extra advantage compared with the other uh, with the other competitors from the other colleges. Thank you very much. And then uh, if you have any question, let me know.